meeting of the school board. I'll ask Mrs. Overby to do the roll call this morning.
Mr. Allman.
Here.
Dr. Ball.
Here.
Ms. Lane.
Here.
Ms. Maddox.
Here.
Mr. Milner.
Here.
Dr. Stanbaugh.
Here.
And Mr. Blair.
Here.
Thank you.
The board has been presented with the agenda in advance to review. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as it has been presented to us?
So moved.
Second.
And moved and seconded to approve the agenda. All in favor, please raise your hand. Thank you. I'd like to welcome our staff this morning and our visitors. We're very pleased to have you with us. We'll have some interesting things maybe on the agenda for everybody today. We'll ask Dr. Duvall if he'll do the invocation this morning, and Dr. Stanbaugh if he'll lead us in the pledge.
Holy God, we give you thanks this morning for the opportunity to gather here at this place to go about the work of serving the students and community of Henry County. We would ask that you direct our discussion, our decisions, our actions in a manner that would lead us to always keep the well-being, welfare of our students at heart. Bless us now as we go through the remainder of this morning's meeting. We ask in my precious name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We do not have any persons registered to speak to the board this morning, so we'll move into our awards and recognition. Mrs. Haskins.
Good morning, Madam Chairman and members of the board. It's my pleasure this morning to introduce to you the recognition and award of our First Generation Scholarship. As you know, this is sponsored by Service Solutions, and this year we are excited to award two deserving graduates, one of Magna Vista High School and one of Bassett High School, with a $2,000 scholarship each. And these will be sent to their colleges, and we just wanted to recognize those students for you this morning. The winner from Magna Vista High School is Elijah Jedediah Ashby, and he was unable to be with us because he's on vacation today. But we are excited to welcome Leanne Hall McGuire, our Bassett High School graduate, this morning. And we're going to ask Ms. Maddox and Dr. Cotton to come down and take a photo with her.
The next section of our agenda is the consent agenda. Any of this that you wish to do so, we can pull out by item to discuss, or we can approve it as a candidate. So, what is your pleasure?
Motion to pursue to approve consent agenda as it's presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda as presented. All in favor, please raise your right hand. Thank you. In the action agenda, the first item this morning is the VSBA delegate and an alternate delegate selection. Dr. Cotton.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. In accordance with the bylaws of the Virginia School Boards Association, a school board in good standing is entitled one vote in all meetings of the association. Certainly we are in good standing. The voting delegate and alternate needs to be selected from each school board by the board that is sending them to represent the particular school board. And we have a recommendation that we've had in place in the past where our chair, Mrs. Max, would serve as the person in that role, with the alternate being our vice chair, Mr. Milner. So that would be my recommendation based on previous practice, that both of them would represent our school board at the delegate assembly. So I'd like to put that out for potential approval.
Will we approve, Madam Chairman?
Second. Been moved and seconded to approve myself and Mr. Miller as the individuals to represent us at the SBA delegates. Table.
Need to vote on it.
I'm sorry.
Need to
Oh,
vote.
we didn't vote? Please raise your hand if you approve. Thank you. We have approval of award bid for infrastructure upgrades.
Good morning.
Good morning.
With the increase of the number of mobile devices supported at the middle and high schools, additional wireless access points and updated network infrastructure are required to provide adequate coverage and bandwidth. A bid was issued with 5 vendors responding. The bid was issued in conjunction with our filing of E-rate services for 2016-17 school year. The division can request networking equipment such as access points for each classroom. This year we requested access points for the middle and This year we requested access points for the middle and high schools, Camel Court Elementary, Mount Olivet, and Rich Acre Elementary, for a total of 541 access points. Next year we will finish upgrading all schools. It is recommended that the school board award the bid 16-012912-2973 to ESI Electronic Systems Incorporated of Roanoke, Virginia.
Mr. Lee, if you can add a little bit more to this discussion, we have heard concerns that with all of our devices, some of the wireless has been extremely slow,
Yes,
particularly in our middle school. So with this addition, we should see that issue go
That
away.
should be improved. We don't have enough access points at the middle schools. We don't have the density required to support all the devices we have at the middle schools.
But we will with this
Yeah.
purchase.
We will have 1 access point per classroom, one in each classroom.
We've talked about this throughout the year, that it was frustrating at times when students were using their iPad and the internet was slow. And the middle school principals in particular raised this concern, so our hope is this will resolve that. And if you remember when we had our budgetary discussions, that was one of the priority items on there. You notice the one-time purchase, we made sure we kept that on there as a priority. So I just wanted to circle back and make sure you all know that we're trying to address those concerns. I don't know if others have heard those as well. But when you have as many devices as we do, we have to really work on the bandwidth and infrastructure.
So it's access points and bandwidth, correct?
Yes, it's included the wiring and probably some switches also. So the network behind the access points will also be updated.
I see that it's 100% reimbursable. Who is reimbursing?
That is correct. The $65,634.87. That's just our share, 20% of E-rate. The 80% is paid to the company directly. The company share.
Okay, other questions for table this morning? also, he will be talking about approval to purchase licenses for the system manager.
Systems manager. The school division has currently over 4,000 iPads, close to 4,600 iPads. That requires apps, books, and system updates to be installed manually and individually on occasion. With more devices added yearly, this process is becoming labor-intensive and time-consuming. Meraki System Manager can expedite this process by pushing apps and updates without manual intervention. It is recommended that the school board approve the purchase of 5,000 license of Meraki System Manager. The purchase will be from ESI. And we are requesting 5,000 because we are adding 580 iPads this year.
Move to approve. Second.
Is that, it says estimated 35,000, so that could go up or down?
It's probably lower than that. It's more, we estimate at $7 each license, but it will probably be $6.50, so it'll be lower than that.
We're expecting it to be lower than that amount. If it's over that amount, then we'll be bringing it back. For our expectations, it should be below that.
Questions for Mr. Davidson? You made a motion. I'm sorry.
Need to vote.
Stop all the motion.
Motion is second.
Okay. All in favor, please raise your right hand. And also, Mr. Lee will be talking about approval to purchase cases for sixth grade tablet computers.
The school division is currently participating in a one-to-one tablet deployment in grades 3 to 8. This year, the division is replacing the sixth grade iPads, which are more than 4 years old, with the new iPad Air 2. This iPad replacement requires a new case for the device. The case that we wish to standardize on are from the company RugEd. We have tested the iRugEd case for iPad Air 2, and Alex has one sample there. And they are very sturdy and support the iPad as it travels with students home in a book bag. In addition, the case comes with a 3-year zero deduction repair warranty. RugEd will repair the iPad screen if it's damaged inside the case. So if the iPad is inside the case and the screen gets damaged, cracked, they will repair.
This is an example.
This is the sample.
Demonstration. You want to pass it around? Madam Chair, members of the board, what we've found is investing in a strong, sturdy case really limits the damage to our devices. And one of the things I just want to mention to you at this point is we've been working closely with George Lyle as well as Reed Smith on revamping how we do the insurance for the devices. And what we're looking at doing is charging a minimal fee at the elementary middle school level, where it covers not just the device but also the charger, because we've had issues with families and students losing or breaking the charger, as well as other things that could occur or happen with the devices. So I'll share more with you on that as we finalize that before the start of the school year. But as you all know, in the past, parents have had the option to pay for insurance or not. And if a parent doesn't pay for the insurance, then they're required to handle the cost of the damage. But we're hoping that by lowering But we'll share more on that as we move forward. But our hope is that all parents will participate, because you don't want to have to pay the cost of an iPad that's been damaged. And what we find is that they keep it in the case, and then it rarely happens. The issues we've had, they take them out.
Yeah, they take out of the case. This one they cannot take without a special tool. They'll have to cut the screws open. Yeah.
Do we have any history of the amount of damages that have occurred since we had those? One per 100 or anything like this?
This is the first time we're using this one.
This will be the first time we use this one, but from previous. Yeah, we've been having more. I would say about 8 to 10% of with the new iPad Airs, because they are not as sturdy as the old iPad 2s, and because they're also in a case where the student can take them out. So a lot of the damage that I see is because they take them out of the case.
Do you know what our cost has been for damage?
The screen is $99.
We're going to spend $34,000 and we've had $20,000 of damage.
Yeah,
it doesn't make sense. Other than, you see what I'm saying?
It's $99 for screen repairs, around $99.
Do we know what we've been averaging, though, is what I'm saying? In other words, is this going to save us money, or are we going to say, yes, we've got less damage, but we're paying more than we did to fix the damage?
You mean with the cases?
With whatever we've had previous, do we know what it's been costing us in terms of iPad damage?
I do not have the numbers with me.
Yeah, we can get that to you, but also that's with cases. So
we've just had a different case.
Yeah. The true test would be to see how much damage we have without the case, but we can get that to you. We do monitor the amount, because we had to make sure that whatever we charge parents, it will cover the damage throughout the year, but we can get that to you.
Seems like probably the most valuable thing is the warranty on the screen. Is that where most of the damage happens?
Yeah, most damage is cracked screen. The kids drop and crack the screen. And this will cover for 3 years.
This would be a one-time charge.
It's a one-time charge, but will cover for
a long
3
time.
years.
We don't have to be spending the money yearly
That is correct.
to buy them.
And we do meet with several school divisions that are deploying devices, and that's a big recommendation that we have. We do have other school divisions that have gone without the cases, and they have a lot more issues with breakage, because it's very easy to drop an iPad. That's been an experience, but it happens, and so you want to make sure that you have a strong case, just like with your phones. If you have the issue of dropping your smartphone without a case, then you've dealt with that too.
Move to approve.
Second, we moved and seconded to approve as presented by Mr. Lee. All in favor, please raise your right hand. Mr. Scott, approval of award of contract for construction. We're excited. We're very excited.
Yes, ma'am. Madam Chair, members of the school board, let me first by saying that after many hours and a lot of hard work from a lot of great people, I have the pleasure to be able to present this. So I'm excited about this as well, but bids were solicited for construction of Meadowview Elementary, which is designed to combine the Townsville Primary, John Redd, and special education classes for Stallintown Elementary into one facility. So of the 3 contractors that responded to these bids, G&H Contracting of Salem, Virginia, provided the lowest bid with a total of $19,691,800. Now this total is minus alternate 2. We had 2 alternates in there. One was a canopy that led the students out to the bus pickup and drop off. And the second was to replace all the asphalt with concrete. So we've accepted alternate number 1, but not alternate number 2 as part of this pricing. And then a bid summary, of course, is attached for your review. So it's recommended that the contract amount of $19,691,800 $800 be awarded to G&H Contracting of Salem, Virginia for construction of Meadowview Elementary. But it's also recommended that the board would grant permission for the Director of Facilities to approve any change orders that may arise during the construction phase not to exceed $50,000. And this change order request is important for large-scale projects like the school construction to ensure there are no delays in the project to wait for the next school board meeting. So the change order verbiage, of course, matches the state law and what the county has adopted as part of their policy for handling large projects. It's also recommended that the award of contract be made contingent upon additional funding being secured to complete the project, with the understanding that the contractor will immediately proceed with work that would not exceed the funds already secured.
Is the 50,000 amount, just, where's that come from? Is that a legal requirement, or is that enough? I mean, it's a tiny percentage of the total project cost.
It is, but the state law actually mentions 25% of the project or $50,000, whichever one's the maximum on it. So, I mean, whichever one's meets it. And of course, 50,000 was going to be our requirement for that.
I move to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the presentation as presented by Mr. Scott. All in favor, please raise your right hand.
Madam Chair, members of the board, this will come up at the Board of Supervisors meeting, where we'll continue conversations about financing and those kinds of things moving forward. But if all goes like we anticipate, we hope we'll start seeing some construction happen. What do you say, August?
That's what we're hoping for. In conversation with the contractor, he's ready to go. So we'll be sending out an intent letter this afternoon or first thing in the morning to the contractor, allowing him to get the stuff rolling.
And certainly it was a benefit to us to rebid, because they came in, what, 2.5 million
Right.
lower than the original.
Right, total of everything, you're right. We were experiencing roughly $2 to $2.5 million in savings by going through the rebid.
So even though it's not ideal for the opening of the new school, it's well worth it for the additional savings. But we're going to build a school, so that's exciting.
Keith, let me ask one question. No, not understanding volume readings or whatever the language is. That sentence that says it's also recommended that the award of contract be made contingent upon additional funding being secured to complete the project. Right. What exactly does that mean?
Well, what's happening is, of course, we're securing the rest of the funding for the project now. And so what we're basically doing is putting some language in there that the contractor can get started with what we have in the bank, if you will, now. And then he knows that we would be securing the rest of the funding at a later date. And I've had that conversation with the contractor, and he's aware and ready to go with that. Yes, sir.
It's good to see the change order thing there, because I remember back, I think the largest remodeling that we did since I've been on the board was George Washington Carver High School, and we constantly had those change orders because they were discovering things that, due to the age of the building.
Sure.
So it's good to see that they're included in here up to a certain point.
I agree, and I appreciate the approval of that, because that does help the project move along pretty smoothly when we have something like that. Now, of course, a project this large is, we may see some change orders come through.
And I also want to remind the board as well as the public that we did include a full-size gym, correct?
Correct, that's true.
Were there any other alternates that we included in this?
Well, this particular, I appreciate you bringing that up, Dr. Cotton. Actually, when we rebid this, we included the large-scale gym as part of the base bid. So we didn't even include it as part of the alternate. So we did remove the next item that I'm going to bring up out of the bid, and we bid it separately. But the large-scale gym was part of the base bid on the rebid project. So only two alternates came out of this particular bid.
Yeah, because it was very clear from talking to you as well as the board of supervisors that you all felt very strongly about the full-size gym. So that was an alternate, and we built it into the base bid. So that's important for the community to know that we're going with the larger gym, because the concern was we build a smaller one and then we regret it. And obviously the community is going to be using this facility and the grounds, so that's important to know.
again, I'd just like to reiterate thanking everybody there's been a lot of people involved, so it's been exciting. Thank everybody that has been involved in this.
Please, you also are going to present the approval to award the contract for the construction of the sewer line.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Part of the, when we did the rebids, part of some of our discussions to lower the cost was to remove the sewer line out of the base bid of the contract and bid it as a separate project. So bids were solicited for construction of a new sewer line, and then of the 6 contractors responded, C.W. Cawley from Patrick Springs provided the lowest bid of $497,790. And so we've attached a bid summary too for your review on that. So it's recommended that we also award a contract to C.W. Cawley in the amount of $497,790 for Patrick Springs for construction of a new sewer line to Meadowview Elementary. And we have the same language in there with the recommended grant permission for the Director of Facilities to approve any change orders that may arise during the construction of this project as well, not to exceed $50,000. And then, of course, that same language is part of the state law and then the county policy.
Isn't there currently a sewer line along Pittsburgh Road by there? Is it being enlarged or what?
Actually, the sewer line will actually be coming from the, I guess, the other side of the road that leads to the city reservoir. It's over there on the other side of that road, and we'll be coming up from behind the school, actually up through that property, coming in behind Meadowview, that direction. That's where the closest sewer line will be for that.
Move to approve.
Second. Been moved and seconded to approve the award of contract for the construction of the sewer line at Meadowview. All in favor, please raise your right hand. Thank you. Now he's going to jump to another topic.
We'll put on a different hat.
He's going to review the crisis plan for us.
Right, yes, ma'am. In accordance to the Code of Virginia 22.1-279.8, local school boards are required to annually review the written school crisis, emergency management, and medical emergency response plans for each school in the division. And then the superintendent shall certify in writing that the review is taking place no later than August 31st of each year to the Virginia Center for School Safety. We do not have any plans from our changes from our crisis plan that we had last year. And so we're asking that we recommended that would be, I guess the board declares a required crisis plan review complete. There are no changes, again, as we mentioned, going forward with this. Each school has their copy of it, and then, of course, each school also spends time each year reviewing that plan with all of their staff prior to the school year beginning. And then we have other training and safety trainings throughout the year that talks about it with our crisis as well.
Any questions about the crisis plan? Is there a motion to approve crisis?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the crisis plan without changes as presented. All in favor, please raise your right hand. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next section of the agenda deals with the superintendent's report. Dr. Kyle.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. We do have some highlights for June. We have lots of summer learning taking place, and I wanted to highlight some of those in my report this month. Next month, I'll be reporting to you on our preparations for the start of school. The first item, the Exabyte in action. Students in Jeannie Lowry's kindergarten class at GW Carver Elementary ended the school year by putting an iPad their teacher recently won in the Exabyte Challenge to good use. The students collaborated to make a digital book of their field trip to Magna Vista High School during plant days by selecting photographs and writing about their experience. Each student recorded his or her voice reading the paper he or she wrote using the iPad app Book Creator to create a class memory book. Floating in the summer, the Army Corps of Engineers Ranger Rick Wigley visited Sandytown Elementary at the end of the year to share water safety tips with students, including how to make a homemade emergency flotation device using 2 empty plastic gallon milk jugs. Students were encouraged to wear a life vest when boating or swimming in deep waters, and to be sure their life vest is the correct size or fit for their body weight. Infinite possibilities. Students in the extended year program recently visited Infinity Acres for some hands-on science lessons. While visiting the ranch, students were able to groom and care for goats and llamas, as well as try their hand at fishing in the pond. Personalized learning. High school students are taking advantage of a new opportunity this summer by taking an online course. This option allows students to work from home or come into school during the summer break to complete a course such as economics and personal finance or health and PE 9. And you may be asking how we do health and PE online, but believe it or not, it can be done. The students do have some physical fitness requirements they have to meet throughout the summer. Cybersecurity. 15 Magna Vista High School students participated in Cyber Camp in June. Activities included problem solving during cyber attack scenarios, computer programming, and robotics. Students learned basic skills in preparation for potential certification in a cybersecurity field. The young ladies in the photo designed a synchronized program using 3 robots. We are excited to use equipment from the program at both high schools in the upcoming school year. And many of you have heard that the governor is talking a lot about cybersecurity and the need to expand those course offerings throughout the Commonwealth. Planning ahead. Principals, assistant principals, and other district administrators participated in a three-day planning retreat to prepare for the 2016-17 school year at the end of June. In addition to a review of division policies and practices, administrators worked with Dr. Eric Wood from Apple's Education Division and with Dr. John Omerode to further develop school-wide visible learning practices. Here comes the lunch truck. In addition to the traditional summer lunch locations that students can visit for a free hot lunch, the school nutrition program is delivering free hot lunches to neighborhoods in our community this summer. This expansion of our summer feeding program is helping to ensure that more students are receiving proper nutrition during the months out of school. We're also excited to share that we have received grant funding and partner sponsorship from Autos by Nelson to secure a delivery van for the nutrition delivery program as well. And we want to continue to get out in the public and the community that these opportunities are available. And I appreciate our friend from Martinsville Bulletin being here because we're not getting as much participation as we'd like. So we're hoping that the more we get the word out, that more families will take advantage of this great opportunity. Keeping active, Henry County Public School middle school students are staying active this summer by participating in the school nutrition program's summer sports activities camp at Laurel Park. The camp, which runs Monday through Thursday from June 6th through July 28th, is providing students the opportunity to practice team and individual sports, as well as participate in reading and math enrichment activities during the school break. Congratulations to the following. Congratulations to the following Bassett High School students who are winners in the Piedmont Arts Association's Expressions Art Show. Mackenzie Martin, Madison Foley, Bailey Watkins, Bree Ferguson, Casey Shore, Aaron Gerganis, Abby Custer, Michaela Carr, and Ashley Hall. Tournament champs. Amongst competitors from Bassett, Carlisle, Magna Vista, and Patrick County, Bassett High School's team of Zachary Keys and James Bird won this month's Bill Pop Fishing Tournament. It's exciting. Artistic excellence. For their excellence in art education and their contributions to the art and culture in our area, Henry County Public Schools art teachers Jessica McAlexander and Christina Weldon were recognized as Piedmont Arts Association's Clyde Hooker Awards ceremony in June. So lots of good things going on this month. As you know, learning does not stop. And then, of course, we'll provide you some updates next month on our preparations for the start of school. There was another area that I just wanted to mention to the board because during my reports, and that would be related to the budget. And you may have already heard about the governor releasing the fact that the statewide revenue was not where they expected it to be. There's a shortfall at the state level, and we obviously are going to continue to monitor this moving forward. We are waiting to get some final numbers and information from the state. From what we understand, we really won't. They're going to do a reforecast September 1st, but we're really not going to get an update until December. And as you know, we did implement raises starting July 1st. So those already went into effect. So some things that we're doing now just to be proactive, because we're not sure what the final results will be. We are holding a few central office positions that we had approved in the budget. We're going to hold those for now until we learn more. And those positions were the painter, that we have a maintenance position we're holding, preventive maintenance, as well as a clerical position that we're going to hold off on. And the reason that those are being held right now is, frankly, we hadn't posted them yet. So we're going to hold off on those until we learn more. The other nice thing about those positions is we can fill those throughout the year without impacting a classroom. You know, I'm very reluctant. Actually, I never pull a teacher out of a classroom for a different position during the year. But since these will not impact individual classrooms, then certainly as we learn more, we can fill those throughout the year. We're also closely monitoring student enrollment. You know that we have a certain number we plan for, and if we go above that, then that will be additional funding for our school division, so that could help with the shortfall. We're also going to closely monitor budget expenditures throughout the year, as we always do. We will most likely tell the schools and departments to hold back 25% of spending until a certain point in time where we feel comfortable that we're going to be able to meet all of our needs, and we've done that in the past before. You know, Dawn likes to remind us of the year we had in December where we had to make up a shortfall. One year was $2 million, and I think another year was as high as $8 million. So we certainly aren't going to be looking at numbers that high, but it's something that we need to monitor closely. So I wanted to make sure you knew we were already looking at this and we're paying close attention to this. And another option that we could look at, depending on our carry forward, which we haven't done before, and of course we would need approval from the board of supervisors, maybe some of that can be used to fill the gap for 1 year. Now we don't like to do that for salaries, because salaries are not one-time expenditures. You have to sustain that. But given the fact that we've just been handed this this new information, that may be the reality for us to get through this year, but we'll have to know that we need to plan effectively for the future. So I wanted to make sure I shared some of those things with you now in case you get questions, because you know, we received a news release from the governor and we're still waiting, and I know there was some discussion about holding off on raises until December, which was always an option, but we decided to go ahead and implement raises July 1st. In the past, we've waited till December and January for that very reason, to wait and see how, and sometimes we get a lot of feedback on that. Why are we waiting until January? But that's because we want to make sure that everything comes to fruition as expected. But that's where we are at this point in time. And I wanted to put that out there and see if you had questions, but I also wanted you to know that we're already being proactive in how we're going to address this. Any questions from the board at this time?
I was watching the presentation there from various schools, particularly the one about water safety. I know that at one time we had some of our elementary schools that were going to Y or swimming lessons.
Yes.
Yes. Do all the schools participate in that?
Yes, sir. We're still doing that. Every single elementary school, all of their first grade participate in the swimming program through the Y. And that's been a very strong program. We're still doing that. We a couple of years ago we piloted 2 elementary schools, but we've now expanded to all. So all schools are participating. We could probably do even more of that, but I think it's been a great partnership.
If there are no other questions for Dr. Cotton, are there matters that the board would like to discuss this morning?
What's the status, Mr. Scott, of the light extension at Bassett High School? Is that going to be replaced in time for fall sports season, or Where are we?
You're speaking of the stadium, the pole lights, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because what we're doing now, it should be ready. Our plan right now is for it to be ready prior to the football games going, but we did find during our inspection that we had another pole that was a little questionable on the bolt, so we're not going to take any chances. Matter of fact, we just sent some documentation over yesterday regarding that to our purchasing group. So we're looking in, and it would probably be 2 changed out prior to the football season starting. So right now, everything's a go, that it should be good to go prior to, we're hoping before school gets started, but we definitely before the first home football game. So
is there any opportunity, both because I don't know if they're being used at FC, is there any opportunity to use lighting from there and move it?
Oh, you mean
just
the
save
pole
costs?
lights?
Yeah, are we using lights at the stadium at FC any longer?
I think that they sometimes, my understanding is I think they have used some of those for other events or maybe some Parks and Rec games that come along sometimes at nighttime. I don't know how frequently, but there are some that's being used from time to time over there.
And the funding for this, I think we talked about, is we're still going to carry forward funding for or does that come out of our?
Actually, the first one, right, the first poll, actually the insurance coverage is handling that piece on it. And then the second one, am I correct on that, Don? Right? And then the second one is coming out of our facilities operation budget. Yes, sir.
Yeah, because we don't want, the unfortunate thing with insurance is you gotta wait for something to happen, but we don't want anything sure. So we're already, for us here, that's coming out of your facilities budget, the additional polls.
That's correct, yeah. And like I said, that just has risen up for us. And so we'll continue to watch over those to make sure, nothing that we see in the future on it, but that one did just pop up. So.
What's the ballpark figure for each pole and light?
Roughly 35,000. Roughly 35,000 new pole, new lights that go along with that one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What's the status of the waiting room at Bangladesh?
Well, the only update I have with that right now is the drawings have been completed. Mr. Knight brought them by, and we've approved those drawings, and everything's moving forward with that. The next step is for me to, and I can't remember the gentleman's name from Magna Vista that's kind of overseeing the project. I don't remember his name. Do you, Mr. Tate?
Mr. Tate.
Mr. Tate, okay. I've got to reach out to him to see is he ready for the footers to be starting to be done. But the drawings have been completed, and everything's kind of in line for that.
Is there some kind of timeline as to completion of this?
The original projection is that next fall, maybe we would have this completed prior to that. But again, a lot of that will come into fundraising that takes place, how money falls for Magna Vista, and funding will be a big picture of that projected timeline.
Yeah, they're gearing up their fundraising activities. They're going to try to collect a certain amount, and then we're going to support them. I don't remember what we told them.
I guess they would raise 75,000, I believe it wasn't, and we were going to try to match the rest of it, whatever else is left on.
But our plan was, again, if we have some carry forward that we can tap into, and they contribute a certain amount, then we'll support them on moving forward.
We'd like to remind you of some dates that are coming up very shortly. On July 28th will be our retreat, starting at 8 in the morning and until around 1 o'clock. On August 2nd, of course, will be our convocation for all of our people to come back to work and get started on the new year. And that will be at Bassett High School this year at 1 o'clock. And then, of course, our monthly meeting is prior to that.
8:30.
You did that?
Convocations, yeah. Don't come
Oh, okay.
You'll miss all the fun if you come over.
Yes, that's good. Come for lunch. Okay.
Madam Chair, if I could just ask a question. I know it's not listed here, but in November, generally we meet the first Thursday of every month. And what I'd like for the board to consider is moving the November 3rd meeting to November 10th date. And the reason I would ask that is because we have our digital promise. We're a member of the League of schools, and their fall meeting is in November, and it's in Maryland, so it's much closer than usual. Usually they're in California or Texas or somewhere, so with it being in Maryland, Baltimore County in particular, I'd like to be able to attend, as well as Mrs. Sammy Strayer, because the focus is on innovative instruction and teaching learning practices. So I would just like to put it out for consideration. Those many of you who are working, I wanted to make sure I mentioned it early enough so that we don't have an impact on you. So I don't, I'd like some feedback on whether or not that's a possibility, and if it is, I'd like to move forward with that so that we can plan on it.
Other concerns about?
Time for the working folks to speak up.
Let's get some feedback. I can't be here on the third anyway.
Okay.
Mrs. Flanagan, is that all right with you?
It's wonderful.
And the good Reverend, we can make the motion right now.
That would help me if you don't mind.
I move we move the meeting a week back in November. It'll be November the what?
10th instead of.
November the 10th instead of November the 3rd.
Second.
Second.
We moved and seconded to change the meeting date for November to November 10th. All in favor, please raise your right hand.
Thank you for that. We appreciate it, because we find that to be very valuable professional moment for us.
At this time, we'll go into closed session to discuss appointments and separation of personnel and the evaluation of superintendent, also student matters, Virginia legal matters, and need a motion to go into closed session.
So moved.
Second. We moved and seconded to go into closed session to discuss these issues. All in favor, please raise your hand. Thank you. Ready to Terry? I'll entertain a motion to return to regular session.
So moved.
Second.
Have we had a second?
Second.
Oh, okay. It has been moved and seconded to approve returning to regular session. Ms. Evans, would you do the certification, please? Huh? I'm sorry. I don't want y'all to vote today. Now you can start.
Okay. Whereas the School Board of Henry County has convened a closed meeting on this date pursuant to an affirmative recorded vote and in accordance with the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act. Whereas Section 2.2-3712.d of the Code of Virginia requires a certification by the school board that such closed meeting was conducted in conformity with Virginia law. Now therefore be it resolved that the School Board of Henry County hereby certifies that to the best of each member's knowledge, only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements by Virginia law were discussed, and only such public business matters as were identified in the motion by which the closed meeting was convened were heard, discussed, or considered. Mr. Alker?
Yes.
Dr. Duval?
Yes.
Ms. Maddox?
Yes.
Mr. Milner?
Yes.
Dr. Stambaugh?
Yes.
And Mr. Zager?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. We do have a motion coming out of closed session. Dr. Duval?
Yes, Madam Chairman, I'm placing the motion that the personnel report as presented be approved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the personnel report as presented. All in favor, please raise your right hand. And the addendum. The addendum.
Also, okay, I'll make a second.
Sure.
I'm placing the motion that the personnel report addendum be approved as presented.
Second.
Should have said that.
Been moved and seconded to approve the personnel report addendum. All in favor, please raise your right hand. No, if there's no other
What about
business.
the placement?
Yeah, we have to do a motion for the student placements.
Curtis?
Offer motion that the student placement report be approved as presented.
Second.
Been Been moved and seconded to approve the special placement reports. All in favor, please raise your right hand. Thank you. And at this time, we'll entertain a motion to go in as, for adjournment unless there's further business coming from the board.
Move we adjourn.
Second. Been moved and seconded to adjourn this meeting. All in favor, please raise your right hand. Have a good weekend.
Thank you all.